I knew this kid named Chico from Mexico, cooking the pedicos, how he get dough. Mug stayed broke like when you shit slow. Kept a pistol in his dip so kids know his M.O. Love puffin' endo. He pushed the 9-7 act with the bulletproof window.
Guys, what is up? Welcome to another episode of Maximilian Must Know. Today we're going to be looking at my 5 favorite niche brands. We did my 5 favorite designer brands I think a month or so ago, and now we're looking at the niche brands I love the most. We'll finish this series up in a couple months or so with my top 5 indie brands. Now, the way I do this, I talk about a fragrance that I love from the brand, a fragrance that I really want from the brand, and then why I like the brand. Before we get into the top 5, I do have a couple honorable mentions. First, Parfums MDCI. I love Invasion Barbar. That's one I own that I love. I really want Chypre Palatin. And I just think there's a lot of good fragrances within the brand. I haven't tried the 3 new fragrances they released for men in the past couple months, but I'd really like to because I've heard some good things about those. I like their fragrances, even their women's fragrances. I feel like there's just quality to them. All their fragrances have this quality. You know, I don't know that I need to go with the bust editions for the extra $150 or so, but I just feel like they make very quality fragrances, and there's multiple from the brand I could and do want, and so I think they deserve an honorable mention. Believe it or not, I think Montal deserves an honorable mention. I recently got a fragrance from them called Spicy Oud, which I'll do a review on down the road, but it really smells a lot like Noir de Noir to me without the big rose note. And I really like Black Musk. I know they release a lot of redundant fragrances, but some of the first fragrances they did, Red Oud, Dark Oud, Black Oud, Black Musk, Wild Pears, I feel like were really good, and I do feel like they make some quality fragrances. I'm sort of lumping Montal and Mansara together since they're by the same creators. But I wouldn't say it's one of my top 5 favorite brands, but I think it deserves an honorable mention because I think there's many really good fragrances within the brand. I know a lot of them are very synthetic and, as I said, redundant, but if you pick through, there are some winners and you can get them at pretty reasonable prices online. My last honorable mention is Serge Lutens, and the fragrance that I really love from Serge Lutens is Chergui. I own 3 from this brand: Chergui, Fille and Aiguille, and 5 o'clock Eau Gingembre, and I love all of those fragrances. All 3 are very wearable as far as I'm concerned. The one that I really want, Musk Kubla Khan, I think that's one of the best musk fragrances I've ever smelled. It's this dirty musk. It's really, really, really good. It's animalic, and there's a lot from this brand that's just great, especially in their exclusive line. I know they sort of did a weird thing recently by making these 100 ml bottles and doubling the prices, but you know, certainly Serge Lutens during the Sheldrake, his prime era, they really made a lot of amazing fragrances, and I think they're a great brand. Again, I don't love the direction as of recent, but you know, sins of the father. So, top 5 favorite brands for me right now in no particular order. First, Xerjoff. And the fragrance I want to sort of use is the first one I ever bought from Xerjoff, and that's Oudin. It's probably my favorite Xerjoff fragrance that I own. I own 5 from the brand. Just insanely wearable, great fragrance, really masculine. Just well done. So much going on, and I really like it. The fragrance that I want from the brand is Richwood. I just feel like that beautiful blend of sandalwood and rose and patchouli and tangerine is second to none. The price is high, but the quality is there, and there's just so much within this brand to like. XJ is another one of the best leather fragrances I've ever smelled. The Oud Stars line sort of has the Oud fragrances covered. The Shooting Stars line has these sort of nice fresh fragrances covered. Suspiro, now called the Velvet Collection, It's got a lot of great fragrances. The Casimirati line has these wonderful barbershop-like scents. The presentation is second to none. The attention to detail is second to none. And I really feel like I'd be not doing justice if I left Xerjoff out of this list. I also own Naxos 1861, Kobe, or Kobe, Alcott, and Lyra. And there are many more I want. Picovea Dama, Richwood, as I mentioned, XJ Ohm. There's many more that I need to smell, but I had to put Xerjoff in there. The second brand I have to put in there is Frederic Malle. Frederic Malle was the first brand, first niche purchase that I ever made was Vetiver Extraordinaire, but the fragrance I want to use to demonstrate why I love them so much is Geranium Pour Monsieur. It might be my favorite fresh fragrance of all time. The fragrance that I really want from them is just Monsieur. I believe that mix of patchouli and rum and tangerine is just intoxicating and perfect for a modern man. But there's so much from within this brand. Their Oud Fragrance Night is unbelievable, the quality on that. Again, I know the price tag is high, but that's a beautiful fragrance. I love Vetiver Extraordinaire, which I own. I love Dries Van Noten, which I own. Beautiful, creamy sandalwood fragrance. Portrait of a Lady, one of the best rose fragrances I've ever smelled. And Carnal Flower might be the best women's fragrance that I've ever smelled. And there's so much more within the brand. Obviously, Muscat Jour, classic fragrance. Just a great brand. The Jean-Claude Ellena fragrances, Bigarade Concentrate. These are great, great, great scents. French Lover by Pierre Bourdon. What a beautiful green fragrance. So Frederic Malle, yeah, I know they were acquired, but they continue to do a great job, I believe, in their fragrances, and so many are bottle worthy. So Frederic Malle is one of my top 5 niche brands. Next up, Creed. I get it. I get it. But I like Creed, man. I do. And in the bottle, Green Irish Tweed, you know, that's my mother's favorite fragrance on me. That's one of my favorite fragrances of all time. I own a lot of fragrances from Creed. The one that I feel like I need next is Viking. And when I smelled Viking initially, I didn't really get it. But it did take me a long time to really enjoy it. I haven't tried Aventus Cologne yet. I want to soon, hopefully. But again, from Virgin Island Water to Jardin d'Amalfi to Spice and Wood to Royal Oud, they're actually just called Royal Oud, obviously, to their older gems, Acier Aluminum, Royal Delight, Vintage Tabaron. Creed has a rich history. It might not be as rich as they claim, but they make extremely wearable fragrances that are just enjoyable, that you're probably going to get compliments on. Of course, everyone knows the Aventus story. Again, prices are sky high now. I get it, but you get what you pay for, and I feel like with Creed, you're paying for people to appreciate the way you smell, and normally they will if you wear a Creed fragrance, so I have to stick Creed in there. Next up, Amouage. Yeah, definitely one of my favorite houses. I really enjoy what Amouage does, and Jubilation 25, my favorite Amouage fragrance. I own, I think, 4 from this brand. But the next one that I want really is Gold. I think Gold is a really good old school, great masculine fragrance. And again, so much within this brand to love. Reflection Man, great fragrance to wear really any time of year. Epic Man, Memoir Man. Their Opus line is something I really haven't enjoyed as much as their regular fragrances, but I really enjoyed Bracken Man. Beloved Man is a fragrance I feel like I will need at some point. Fate Man is one I recently discovered that I love. And I'm starting to check out their women's line as well, because I think there's some good stuff there. I need to try Beach Hut Man. You know, they seem to be making very wearable fragrances nowadays, which I don't think is a bad thing, but there's still a lot that within the brand, like Interlude Man, that are really artistically well done and wearable as well. But for me, Jubilation 25 is sort of the same thing as Green Irish Tweed. these are just staples in my collection, and fragrances that, have become sort of signature to me. And I think Amouage is a wonderful brand with a wonderful heritage and quality fragrances. And the last brand shouldn't come as any surprise if you know me and you know my channel, and it is Artisan Perfume. Yeah, and the fragrance is Zing. Obviously, that is my favorite niche fragrance of all time. The fragrance that I really want from this brand is Seville Laube. Beautiful orange blossom fragrance with an olive leaf note. I think there's some beeswax in there. There's myrrh. It's fresh. It's a little bit salty and savory, with this wonderful freshness in there as well. Beyond that, though, Traversée du Bois 4, beautiful sort of rose Turkish delight. Fragrance with apple. The Explosions the Emotion line, Skin on Skin, is one of my favorite fragrances. The suede and whiskey mix is just intoxicating. Bois Farine, wonderful fragrance by Jean-Claude Ellena that has this almost peanut floral smell that's just unreal. Noir Exquise, roasted chestnuts. Timbuktu, some people think is the best niche fragrance of all time. A lot of 5 stars on that one. Sort of a dry green mango, woody fragrance. Zonka, this wonderful incense scent. When you consider plenty of these bottles within this collection could be had for under $100, to me it's maybe the best niche fragrance line out there when all said and done. And considering that many people do consider it the first niche fragrance line, I think it's only fitting to end the video with them as my 5th pick. So there you go, guys. My top 5 favorite niche brands: Xerjoff, Frederic Malle, Creed, Amouage, L'Artisan Parfumé. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Again, I didn't include brands like Tom Ford and Christian Dior, Hermes, even though they have these Privé lines, because I consider them designer fragrances, and I put Guerlain in my designer group as well. So let me know what you think. Do you think my 5 are your 5? And if not, what are you switching out? What are you keeping? What would your 5 look like? I would love to know. Drop a comment and let me know. And I'll see you with my indie list in a few weeks or a few months, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching. My name
like hidden plays. Her niggas started spinning waves. 360, pretty cat getting paid. He flipped keys anyway. This chick be flossing thickly. Kids be on her dick because of how she pushes 850s. Incredible, this little mommy of mine. I used to dream of being with her. That's why she's still.